All right. Welcome, everybody, to the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center Sunday gathering. Thank you for being here, and thank you guys for being online as well. And we're just going to start with just taking about 2 minutes to just breathe and be present, allow our minds to come back home to the present moment. So if you haven't already, close your eyes and take a breath. And let's just breathe, breathe together for a moment. Allowing our awareness to come back home to the present moment, right here, right now, where we are. Allow your awareness to land in the now. And just breathe and feel what it feels like to be present in the moment now. And the Course in Miracles tells us that the present moment is the closest approximation to eternity that you can find in time. So we allow ourselves to be present, that we might remember the eternal, that which is eternal, eternal love, eternal life, eternal you, eternal connection, eternal peace, joy that lasts forever. We're remembering that which lasts forever. And breathe it in. We're remembering that which we have forever. And we can never lose, because it is what we are. Eternal love, eternal joy, eternal you, eternal life. Let us remember what we have and are forever. Let us remember what we can never lose. And let us rest our minds and our hearts in this. Let us rest in the remembrance of a love that never dies, that we can never lose, that we always are. And then for a moment, let us take this moment and remember ourselves as connected, as one. And let us say to ourselves silently, I am, we are one self. We are one self, united with our source and connected with every aspect of creation. Let us remember member ourselves as one self, one life, one love, no separation, no gaps between us. And let us rest for a moment in the fact of our unity. It's our sustenance. It's our protection. It's our joy, our one self. What does it feel like to feel connected? What does it feel like to be part of the one self, the one life? What does it feel like to be one? Breathe it in. And allow this feeling, this fact of our oneness, let it heal that sense of isolation and loneliness and loss, which is but a dream. Beautiful. Now let's take this feeling of the fact of our oneness and let's extend it to the world. Imagine covering the entire globe with this awareness of our oneness and the joy and the abundance and the protection of the fact of our unity. Imagine surrounding the entire world with this awareness. Imagine covering the world with this awareness like a blanket of surety and protection around every created being. And breathe. This is how we heal our own sense of separation. This is how we heal the world. We remember our oneness with the world. And then bring your awareness back into your being. Noticing how it feels to remember the truth of our oneness, of our eternal nature as love, as life. How does it feel to join with others in remembering our oneness? How does that feel? Beautiful. And then when you're ready, bring your awareness back to the room, back to your body. And when you're ready, open your eyes and yawn and stretch. Wiggle your fingers and your toes. All right. Okay. All right. Okay, guys. I'm so happy to be one with you guys. You guys are really some cool folks to be one with. If I had to be one with anybody, I'd want to be one with you guys, and you guys too online. All right. So what we're going to do today is one of my all-time favorite miracle principles, and to me it's even more special because I only discovered it in 2018 when the original edition was able to be published, meaning the original dictation. So for most of my Course in Miracles life, I didn't have this particular miracle principle, and ever since I've been using this miracle principle, it has been producing the most amazing results relative to what the Course in Miracles calls all the mundane, trivial stuff that we all deal with all the time, that we all get so frustrated with. And, all the mundane, trivial stuff that is part of being in a body, being in the world. It used to be like something that I would use to say, well, I can't really practice. I really can't be totally peaceful and happy. I really can't embody and integrate all these principles because I got all this mundane, trivial stuff to deal with every day. And this section teaches us a way to allow all the trivial, mundane, worldly stuff that we all deal with, we all get distracted by, what to do with all that so that it gets handled for you brilliantly, geniusly, so that your time and your energy can be used on what is important. What is important. You ever feel like you can't get to what's important because you're so distracted by all the unimportant, all the trivial, mundane details involved in having a body, being on earth? You ever had that feeling? Okay. This section teaches us what to do with all the trivial, mundane details that enables it to be handled more brilliantly than if I was trying to handle it, and saves me so much time, frees up your time. If this principle frees up your time, your energy, your mental energy, your spiritual energy, your emotional energy, so that you can put it towards that which truly is important, what you really are here to do, which is remember who you are and to fulfill your function as a miracle worker, as a healer, as a teacher of love. Okay. All right. So miracle principle number 25. And for you guys watching online, we are in the original edition. So this miracle principle is not in the blue covered edition, which is also known as the Foundation for Inner Peace edition. Okay. So there's a few different forms of the original edition. There's a black cover with white pearls on it. There's a few. The text. So essentially, this is the text. Okay. All right. Which is the original edition, the original dictation. So miracle principle 25. Miracles depend on timing. Funny, funny sentence. The principle is miracles depend on timing. Okay. The first line cracks me up. The first line, it seems like the author is like starting in the middle of a sentence. The first line is, "This is why you shouldn't waste time." Period. And I looked back at the previous sentence thinking like, well, maybe he's just continuing on, from the last sentence of the last, but no, he just starts that line in the middle. This is why you shouldn't waste time. Okay. So the author here is going to be teaching us about how to stop wasting time on what's not important, how to stop wasting on time on what we're not here for. Okay. We're not here to waste time on what the Course in this section calls the unimportant, the trivial, the mundane. We didn't come here to just do all the trivial, mundane things that are necessary when you are in a body. Okay. This is why you shouldn't waste time. I told you before I love the way the author speaks to us here. Yeah, I told you before. Yeah, I told you before. The author could start every single sentence with, I told you before. So I told you before that time would cease when time was no longer useful as a learning aid. Like, time. Have you ever heard this metaphysical truth about time? That time is just a learning aid that will cease when you learned what it's meant to teach you? You ever heard that about time? When you're learning about quantum physics?
Only here.
Yeah, only here. Things you only hear through A Course in Miracles. So apparently time is a learning device. That's what it is. Time is not eternal, thank God. Time is just a learning device that is temporary, that will end when we learn what we're supposed to learn through time. And it says, there is a way of speeding you up. I love that. There is a way of speeding you up. Okay, what does that mean? That means there is a way to speed you up by leaving more and more time for me. Me is your teacher, your higher self. You know, that's either whatever name works for you for your higher self, Spirit, Jesus, Holy Spirit, higher self, whatever that means for you, whatever name you like to have for your personal higher self teacher. Okay. So it says that there is a way of speeding you up, and that is by leaving more and more time for me, your higher self, your teacher, so that you can devote time to miracles. Okay, so when you learn how to leave time for your teacher, that is by leaving more and more time for your teacher. In other words, leaving time for your teacher. Okay, he says, so that you can devote your time to miracles. Okay, what are we devoting most of our time to these days? Thank you. The trivia, the unimportant, mundane trivia, like basically everything for the body. It's all for the body. It's all for the body. What's the body going to do? What's the body going to wear? What's the body look like? What's the body going to eat? What's the body got to do to get some money, to feed the body, to shelter the body? It's all about the body. It's all about the trivial, mundane. It's all about the body. That's what we use time for right now. And he says, that's not what time is for. Remember, time is for learning. Time is for learning and also miracles. When you learn what you're supposed to be learning here, that's a miracle. When you use time for its intended purpose, which is learning, that's a miracle. Okay? So, and apparently, when you learn how to leave more and more time for your teacher, for learning, that speeds you up. What do you mean speeds me up? It means it saves you time, which means you get to the joy, the peace, the love, the healing sooner. Instead of taking a year or 10 lifetimes to learn how to be happy, you could do it in an hour or 5 minutes. Speeding you up means saving you time so that you can get to being happy and being healed quicker. Okay. Who would like to save themselves time like that? All right. Okay. You got any of those things going on? You're like, I have been dealing with this lesson for so long. How many patterns do we have that we've been repeating for so long? How many years you've been repeating this pattern? Okay. How many lifetimes you've been repeating this pattern? Okay. She said 10. Okay. Oh, the painting.
The layers, I mean, as you're speaking, my perspective, like you are moving within that painting.
Wow.
And it's like painting the layers that paint. I just please everyone.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Andres brought this in. This is Andres, one of his parting gifts today. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Andres. Yeah.
And it's layered in as you're speaking, right?
Oh, wow.
How many lifetimes?
Oh, how many lifetimes? Right. Mm-hmm. Oh, yes. Beautiful. Yeah. Almost looks like time. Yeah. All right. Well, Andres said he saw Jesus in it. Yeah. I do too. Okay. So we're going to be hearing here how to save ourselves time so that we can get to the miracles, so that we can get to the joy and the healing and the abundance that is our natural state, that is our inheritance sooner. Okay. And it has something to do with giving the trivial, mundane, and unimportant details of life to our teacher. Okay. So that says this. Now we're on paragraph 3. The reason, this is our teacher speaking, the reason I direct everything that is unimportant is because the unimportant is no way to waste your free will. Isn't that interesting? Can you believe that our teacher is saying, I want you to give me the unimportant. I want you to leave the unimportant to me. That's the opposite of the way I thought. Was like, well, for my teacher, I only give them, like important things. He's like, no, I want the unimportant things. I want all the unimportant, mundane, stupid details that you are so bogged down with and distracted by that you can't get to the real reason why you're here, which is learning how to be happy. Isn't that interesting that our teacher is like, I want the unimportant, the mundane is no way to waste your free will. Wow. I've got this free will. I've got my free mind. I've got the power of my decision. I've got the entire power of my mind, which is all the power of God's mind. And I am wasting it on the unimportant, which means I'm going to have to stay in time longer. It means I'm going to have to stay in time in a body longer before I learn how to be happy. Because I'm bogged down and wasting my free will on the unimportant. So now I'm going to have to be here a few more lifetimes. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to be here a few more lifetimes. I got places to be besides here. So, some higher levels. I want to graduate first grade.
We look at the trivial, unimportant as like what socks am I going to wear today? And that kind of stuff, as if just trivial stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe what our teacher is really in part conveying is the trivial is all the things we see going wrong. All the things that we perceive as bad happening. And we think it's big, but it's actually trivial. Right. It's not real. So it has to be trivial.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Anything that's not, so it told us the purpose of time. It's learning. It's miracles. Okay. So anything besides that is going to be unimportant and trivial, whether that's choosing your socks for the day, or how am I going to deal with this financial problem that I have going on, right? So, from socks to what seems to me to, be worldly, but seems to not be trivial. Okay. So then it says, I'm going to read that again. The reason I direct everything that is unimportant is because the unimportant is no way to waste your free will. And if you insist on doing the trivial your way, anybody insist on doing the trivial their way? And anybody who tries to tell me how to do it differently? Yeah. If you insist on doing the trivial your way, you waste too much time and will on it. Wow. So if I insist, here's something trivial, like how am I going to fix this problem? What am I going to do about this issue? What am I going to do about this problem? If I insist on doing that my way, I'm going to be wasting too much of my time and my decision-making power, too much of my mental power, and too much of my time on that. Yes, and thank you. Thank you. Exactly.
All my energy going towards that.
Yes. So when it says you're going to be wasting too much of your time and your free will on that, will is like you said, Jeanette, my intention, or you could say my decision-making power, or you could say my mental energy, you know, all of those things you could be a synonym for will.
This ties into what Matt taught last week, which is at the beginning of the day, we have to decide which of the voices we're going to listen to. And so when we're dealing with these mundane things, we're continually deciding to listen to that ego voice.
That's right. Exactly. And right. And that's wasting time. And remember, you know, wasting time means I'm wasting time. I'm delaying myself getting to the real reason I'm here, which is learning how to be happy now. That's what we're here to learn, how to be happy now. You know, the world does not teach you how to be happy now at all. It tells you that to be happy, you're going to have to do this, get that, wait for this, get that. It's always in the future, right? So we're learning that how to be happy now. We're learning how to remember, and the way you learn how to be happy now is by remembering who you are now. That's what we're here to do, and everything else is unimportant and it's trivial. And our teacher, shocker, is saying, give me all your trivial, give it to me. I want to direct it. Give it to me, all the trivial. Which socks to choose, what coat to buy, how to fix this problem, what to do with that issue over there. Our teacher's like, give it to me. Give me the trivial. Give me the mundane. I'm in the habit of only like going to God, like, you know, for like big stuff. No. Okay. And I just love that. I mean, talk about a burden. Our teacher is trying to relieve us of a big, giant burden that we are doing ourselves and not really doing that good of a job. And at it, what did our teachers say that you know that anyway, he goes on to say that, oh yeah, it's coming next sentence. Okay. So he says, if you insist on doing the trivial your way, you waste too much time and will on that. And that means then your will, your intention, the power of your mind cannot be free if your power of your mind is tied up in trivia. I'll say that again. The power of your mind, the power of your decision cannot be free if it is tied up in trivia. We have a mind that is powerful enough to heal the whole world. There's nothing that our mind cannot do. There is nothing that our minds cannot do. But we don't know that because the power of our mind is tied up in trivia. The power of our mind isn't free. It's bound. It's bound up. It's held down with trivia, the unimportant. Wow. Okay. Then it says, the power of your mind never gets out if it's tied up with trivia. The power of your mind, your decision, your choices never gets out. if it's bound up with trivia. Okay, wow. Then it says, and then our teacher says this, I will tell you exactly what to do in connection with everything that doesn't matter. Hallelujah is right. You will. I'm like, you will? Really? For real? Is that for real? You really will? All the unimportant stuff. Don't you have something better to do? That's what I'm saying to, to Spirit. I'm like, don't you have something better to do than handle all my unimportant trivia dumb stuff? But our teacher was like, no, I will tell you exactly what to do. And did it use the word exactly? Exactly. Leaving nothing out. Doesn't matter how trivial it is. I will tell you exactly. In the original edition, the word exactly is underlined. I will tell you exactly what to do in connection with everything that doesn't matter.
Is that why you're not wearing socks?
And that's why I'm not wearing socks, because I was specifically directed not to. All right. And then it says, and why is it? Why is it that our teacher will tell us exactly what to do in connection with everything that doesn't matter? Because what doesn't matter is not an area where your choice should be invested. That's not what we should be like, ooh, should I do this or should I do that? Or should I do this or should I do that? So that is not the area where your choice should be invested. Should I do this? What should I do about that? What should I do about this? What should I do about that? Wow, that is not an area where choice should be invested. Choice should really be invested in, am I going to choose love or fear? That's the area where my choice should be invested. Am I going to accept the truth about myself or not? Am I going to forgive or not? Am I going to put off being happy or choose to be happy now? Okay, this is an area where choice should be invested. Okay, all right. He says that the unimportant is not an area where choice should be invested. There is a better use of time. So our teacher here is teaching us how to use our time efficiently, for real. How to use time efficiently. All right. Okay, so here we go. How do we give all the unimportant minutia to our teacher? How do we do that? Okay, this is how to do it. Paragraph 4. You have to remember to ask me to take charge of all minutia. You have to. You have to remember. You have to remember. You know why he's saying that? Because we don't remember. You have to remember. And in this book, this entire sentence is underlined. So I guess that means it's kind of important. You have to remember to ask me to take charge of all minutia. And if you do, all the minutia will be taken care of so well and so quickly that you cannot get bogged down in them. Wow. So, in other words, the way your teacher handles the minutia is how quickly and well. So our teacher can take care of them very well and very quickly. Now, is that how it happens with us? Do we handle our minutia very well and quickly? No, not at all. We get bogged down, heavy, bogged down in all the minutia. So I love that. You have to remember to ask me to take charge of all minutia, and all the minutia will be taken care of so well and so quickly that you cannot get bogged down in them. How's that sound? Does that sound good? Okay. Now, that sounds great, right? He goes, well, the only remaining problem, I've already told you, I'll take care of all the minutia and I'll handle it well and quickly. Okay, so, okay, great. What's the problem? The only remaining problem is that you will be unwilling to ask me to do it.
Just that.
Yeah, besides that, yeah, that's the only remaining problem. I'm handling all the details well and quickly, unlike you. But the only problem is you're not going to do that. You're going to be unwilling to ask me, your teacher, to handle all the minutia. Notice he didn't say, you'll probably not ask me to do it, even though I'm offering. Notice he didn't say, you'll probably forget to ask me. He says, you will. You will be unwilling. You will be unwilling to ask me to handle all the minutia. You know why? Because you are afraid not to be bogged down. Wow, that's honest, you know.
It's too familiar,
Right.
Familiar with the-
Uh-huh. We're afraid not to be bogged down. Isn't that interesting? Uh-huh. Yes. Yes.
All right, comment. Yeah, I was having a conversation with someone and I felt like she kept getting into superfluous details.
Mm-hmm.
She kept coming back, like, okay, well, why do you want a boyfriend? Why do
Mm-hmm.
you
Right.
And where, I was like, okay, what is in the service of? Like, where are you going?
Mm-hmm.
She didn't know. And so when you say that, it's just that most of us don't know what we want or where we're going. And so then we just get stuck in these little details because it's better than realizing we don't know what the hell we're doing.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And we all say we want to be happy and we want to be free, but we say, oh, I do want to be happy, but I can't because of fill in the blank. What the Course in Miracles tells us is that we're not happy because we're afraid of happiness. We say, oh, I want love, but because of blah, 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 I can't experience that. The truth is, no, you're not experiencing it because you're afraid of it. That's what the Course in Miracles says. It's impossible that you not have the love. It's impossible you not have the freedom or the abundance. But it is possible that you be afraid of it because you don't believe you deserve it. That is possible. Yes.
We were just discussing this morning that I'm working through my guilt of being happy and not having things that I have to do, right? Getting up in the morning and not having to jump out of bed.
Exactly.
I'm so conditioned
That's exactly it.
that I'm actually having to work through the guilt that I'm actually allowing spirit to take charge.
Exactly. It's exactly the same thing. We're afraid not to be bogged down. And so if we're not bogged down with the details, the minutia, we are afraid of how happy, right? You were saying that your ego tells you you're wasting time. But the truth is that we're afraid to not be bogged down because of all the peace and joy and abundance and freedom of creation that we would be doing, fulfilling our function if we weren't bogged down. I'm afraid not to be bogged down. Yes.
So that occurs to me that this is also in line with the idea the Course teaches about how we're actually afraid of the power of our mind.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
We're afraid of the creative power.
Yes.
Because we're afraid we might misuse it.
Yes.
There's a whole myriad
yes.
of reasons why we're afraid.
That's right.
So this willingness to get bogged down in details is one of the defenses we use against that fear of the power of our mind.
Exactly. And it goes on, to say that in the Miracle Principle 26 next, which we'll read if we get to it, it says we're actually afraid of this course.
What I was gonna say is we want an excuse.
Yes, exactly. So all the reasons why we say we can't be happy now or can't experience love right now, those are all of our excuses for our fear of it, which means us saying, I don't want it right now because I don't believe I deserve it right now. So all the reasons are just the excuses for why I'm saying no.
So if I tied it into last week's lesson, I'd say, in the morning, I have to be choosing not only to have a happy day, but to surrender everything
Yes.
that's minutia.
Exactly. And like I said, you have to remember to ask me to take charge of all the minutia. So that's the practical application. Like, here's all the details. Oh, I got to do this and I got to do that. And we go, okay, Spirit teacher, I'm giving you charge of all the minutia that I just sat there and made a list of. You know, here's my list. Yes.
This reminds me, a long time ago, I asked you, why do we get bogged down in crummy relationships?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Why do I seem to repeat this pattern
mm-hmm.
of always getting in these stupid relationships that go nowhere?
Mm-hmm. That
And-
bog you down.
And you said, it's not the other person, it's me. I'm afraid to discover who I really am
Mm-hmm,
because I don't know who that person is.
mm-hmm.
And so that scares me. I'll be somebody different or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I use this person as an anchor
Yes.
to stay in this
In
what I
the
think
in the
is
shallow end.
shallow comfort
Mm-hmm.
zone,
Yep,
not ever knowing who I really am
that's right.
and blaming them for it.
Yes.
And that's what we're using all of our minutia
Yes.
is the same thing.
Yes.
Bogging us down so we don't get to discover
Yes.
our true power or who we truly are.
Mm-hmm.
And then we blame it on I can't find my socks. I'm looking for. I've been looking for 10 minutes.
Uh-huh. Exactly. That's exactly right. That's a great connection there. You know, so not only the trivial minutia in, day-to-day details, but, we're afraid not to be bogged down in relationships that are keeping us in the unimportant. We've all had relationships that, were focused on the unimportant. And we felt like we couldn't be free. We felt like our creativity wasn't free. We felt like our love wasn't free. We felt like our mind wasn't free because we were bogged down, with, all the unimportant details, either of a relationship or a situation. So, okay. Now, then it says, deep. I wonder why they took this out. Well, I know why. The reason it was said that that Helen Schuckman and also Ken Wapnick took it out was because this was a personal note to Helen Schuckman from Jesus. So it wasn't specifically like, okay, taking notes for the course. It was a personal note to Helen. And so they thought, well, since it's a personal note to Helen, let's leave it out. Even though, that's a personal note for all of us,
Or at least that was their interpretation.
Thank you. That was their interpretation, was that it was just a personal note for her. Even though, my God, that's so. Who among us doesn't get bogged down with the minutia, and then wonder where'd all the time go. Okay. So I love it. So to whatever part of me feels like I'm running out of time or like I don't have enough time, this is a profound and healing answer to that perception of mine. I don't have enough time. I don't have enough time. Yeah, because you're misusing time. You're getting bogged down in the trivial and minutia when your brilliant genius teacher is asking you to take charge, let him take charge of all your minutia. My God, who would have ever thought that our higher self, this brilliant, loving genius within us, is asking to take charge of all the trivial, mundane details? Wow. I mean, and then talk about having a burden taken off of you. And notice says that when you ask your higher self, internal teacher, to take charge of all the minutia, it frees up your mental power. It frees up all the power of your mind. Now your mind can be creative. Now your mind can create the good and the beautiful and the holy that it was meant to create. Now you can finally imagine the what will come through you. The power, the creativity, the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Imagine what kinds of things that you will be able to create, with your mind that was created to create the good, the beautiful, and the holy. Your mind wasn't created to get bogged down in trivial, mundane, unimportant stuff, like all the details about the body. Wow. Okay. So then it says, sentence 3, do not let this problem of being unwilling to ask your teacher to take charge of the minutia, do not let this problem hold us back. Notice our teacher said, do not let this problem hold us back, meaning holding back your teacher and you. And what's the problem it's referring to? The problem of you being unwilling to ask. That's the problem that we have. Do not let this problem hold us back. Why? Because our teacher says, if you will ask, I will arrange these things, even if you're not too enthusiastic. Thank you, teacher. It's like, so he's like saying, if you'll ask me to take charge of the minutia, I will arrange all these things, even if your asking wasn't enthusiastic. Even if you're like, okay, take all the minutia. I'm asking since you said to ask, right? Even if your asking is not enthusiastic, even if you're asking your teacher to do that without faith, in other words, you're like, I don't really believe you'll do it, but you told me I'll give it to you anyway. Okay. But our teacher is so loving, so patient, even if you don't ask with enthusiasm or belief or faith, he still will arrange all these things for you. That's quite a teacher, don't you think?
I feel like, is that on?
Yep.
Okay, I feel like
It's not on. Hmm. Okay.
It's reminding me of something, like you can't do it wrong. You can't say the wrong word in the wrong way.
Yes.
Just remember to ask.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be a beautiful prayer. It doesn't have to be
Mm.
kind of a certain style, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's what I'm hearing
Yes, absolutely.
in that moment.
I love that. So it doesn't have to be a beautiful prayer. It doesn't matter how you ask.
Did you kneel?
Yeah. Did you kneel? Right. Exactly. Did you give a tithe before you asked? That old religious thing, like first you give, first you tithe, and then I hear your prayer, and whoever heard of prayer being a teacher, I'm giving you all the trivial, unimportant, mundane details of my day today. No one ever told us that that's what prayer really is. I'm giving you all the trivial, mundane details, teacher, for you to handle. That is what our teacher's not asking us to be, dear God, please, blah, 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 blah. He's saying the way I want you to communicate with me is I want you to give me all the trivial, mundane details that are bogging you down, that you're not handling very well, that you're wasting your time with. And I want you to give them to me, okay? Let me have charge of them. He's not saying, all the prayer. Think about all the prayers we learned that we're supposed to say. This is very different, huh?
In this way, at this time.
Say it in this way, say it at this time, say it like this, and don't forget to tithe. Okay? Did I mention tithing? Okay. All right. And then our teacher says, I am not intruding on your will. I'm just trying to free your will. So our teacher is like, this is not me trying to be bossy. I'm not trying to be bossy, tell you what to do. I'm actually trying to free up your mind, trying to free up your creative energy. I'm trying to free up your energy, trying to free your mind, okay, and your time. So, okay, great. Then speaking of prayer, paragraph 5 says, prayer can be very specific in little matters. If you need a coat, for example, or like Greg said, socks. If you need a coat, for example, ask me where to find one. We did say trivial, mundane, unimportant, right? Okay, so he's like for instance, a coat, right? I know your taste well. I also know where the coat is that you would eventually buy anyway. And if you don't like the coat afterwards, that is what would have happened anyway. So I love it that he includes the coat detail about the coat, so that you will understand that he's talking about the trivial and mundane, even down to what coat. I need a coat. Okay. All right. Yes.
I just want to offer, I can testify that this works.
Okay. Give me that testimony.
The most common example that I do this with, asking Spirit, where should I go for the X, Y, Z?
Yes.
Is with the grocery store.
Yes.
I will have my list, and I'm very picky about certain things, like strawberries.
Okay.
Strawberry snob.
That's right. Strawberry snob.
And I've got a choice of like half a dozen different grocery stores that I can go to. And I ask, should I go here or here or here? And he's batting 1,000.
Yes.
He is literally batting 1,000. I have not yet been disappointed by his choice of where I should go grocery shopping.
Yes. Thank you. Absolutely. I would also like to piggyback on that testimonial. Every single time I have ever done that, where I said, okay, I'm giving to you, I'm asking you to take charge of all the trivial, mundane details of this problem. Literally, I mean, every single time, it's handled in a way that I would have never thought of, and in a timing that is just spooky, just in a way and a timing where I'm like, wow, dramatic. Yes, Andres.
Testimony. So I started getting an inkling that I wanted to go to Patagonia maybe mid-April. So, thinking in my new show, I was like, I should buy that ticket soon because it'll be cheaper and all this stuff. And I waited. I kept asking Spirit, should I buy? No. And what ended up happening is I bought it a few days back, like this past weekend. And it was because my friend is flying half the leg with me. And she's a therapist and a coach, and she's a badass lady. And I'm flying with a really good friend, knowing that I'm terrified of flying. And the tickets were cheaper, so cheap that I bought her ticket as well. So I have that fear of like flying was met with a blessing. They just kept telling me, wait. I'm like, I don't want to pay $1,000, more than I have to.
Right.
But it totally worked out.
I love it. Beautiful, perfect testimonial. And exactly. Yes. Yes. Okay. I love this next paragraph. I love this next paragraph. Paragraph 6. Our teacher says, I cannot save you more time than you will let me. I can only save you as much time as you'll let me. Says, but if you are willing to try the higher shopping service, speaking of like buying, you're talking about buying your ticket. But if you are willing to try the higher shopping service, which also covers all lower order necessities and even quite a number of whims within reason, then I have very good use for the time we could save.
Yeah.
Just hearing about the hire shopping service makes me so happy. So here's what the hire shopping service, and the hire shopping service, it's capitalized, hire shopping service, capital H, HSS, exactly. Here's what the hire shopping service does if you're willing to try it, okay? It handles all the trivial mundane details, and it also covers all lower order necessities. Not only, so what is a lower order necessities? Basically everything to do with the body, that's the lower order concerns, is all the things of the body, okay? And it also covers a number of whims within reason. I love that because I got lots of whims.
Terms, yeah.
Exactly, like it says, so if you are willing to try the hire shopping service, which covers all those things we just mentioned, then our teacher says, I have very good use for the time we could save. I wonder what our teacher's going to be doing with all that time, the very good use for your time that you have saved by trying. Are you willing to try the hire shopping service? Wow, isn't that beautiful? It's like, this is perfect. Your story is perfect for that. You were willing to try the hire shopping service. When should I buy that ticket? When should I buy that ticket? Okay, beautiful. And then paragraph 7 says, remember, the specific answer you get depends on the specific question that you ask. So the quality of the question determines, and the specificity of the question. The specificity of the question determines the answer, which means the fewer limits you impose on your question, the better the answer you'll get. So interesting how we impose limits on the questions, which means we put limits on the specificity. We put limits on the specificity. We're not specific. We're not like, what is the coat I should get? Where is the coat I should get? What is the specifics? Yes.
It reminds me also of Matt's lesson last week that, like, if you already determine that the driver that cut you off is a jerk, and then cut you off, and you don't ask to see it different. Yes, like, I'm not happy with even knowing an answer to it. I relinquish all, like, what is this telling me?
Right.
I know what nothing is for.
Yes.
How could I see this differently?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, when I was reading this earlier, I was thinking about, the type of question that we ask determines the answer. Like, sometimes I hear people say, where's all the good men gone? Are there no more good women left? Instead of saying, Holy Spirit, where is the person that you would have me be with? See the difference? The difference in the quality of the question? Yeah, absolutely.
It's asking from a place of love.
Yes.
I know that the answer is there.
Exactly.
Or is it asking from a place of fear of that doesn't even exist, so why should I even ask a different question?
Exactly. Right. And so he's saying, so it's very interesting. The specific answer you get depends on the specific question. So it's talking about specifics. So the fewer limits you impose on your question, the better the answer you'll get. So if you're not imposing limits on what you're asking, like instead of asking, like he says, For example, you could ask, where can I find a particular brand of coat? Or you might ask, where is the coat I want? Or where is the coat I should get? And so on. The form of the thought determines the level of the answer. Now, paragraph 8. Do not get bogged down in distractions if they now arise. Okay. So when it says, so don't get bogged down in distractions if they now arise. What are distractions? Distractions are reflections of old learning patterns. Distractions, okay, don't get bogged down in distractions. What does that mean? That means if you are not asking your teacher to take all those trivial, mundane details, okay, that's when you're not giving all those trivial, mundane details to your teacher, that's when you're getting bogged down in the distractions, okay? So the reason that we get bogged down in the distractions, he says, is because we are willing to get bogged down in the distractions because they are reflections of old learning patterns, and they arise, the distractions, because you don't like what I said about leaving the minutia to me. Okay, so my distractions that I'm getting bogged down in trying to handle by myself is because I don't like that my teacher said, what my teacher said about leaving the minutia to my teacher. I don't like that. I want those distractions. I want to get bogged down because I'm afraid of my power. I'm afraid of being happy. I'm afraid of the good, the beautiful, and the holy that I could be creating with the power of my mind if I wasn't bogged down with all this minutia. And the reason that I am wanting to get bogged down is because of my old learning patterns. My old learning patterns. Okay. All right. And the distractions, my willingness to get bogged down in the distractions, my unwillingness to give my minutia to my teacher to handle, that merely illustrates our unwillingness to not get bogged down. You know why we're afraid not to get bogged down with distractions? Is because we're afraid of the course. Isn't that interesting? That's what it says. Hey guys, I love it. That our willingness to get bogged down in distractions is because we are afraid of this Course in Miracles. Isn't that interesting? Anybody notice that they've had some resistance to A Course in Miracles? Anybody?
No, just a little.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay. Yes. Absolutely. Because that's what the Course is. The Course is learning how to let yourself be guided by a higher intelligence, a mind that loves you better than you do and is a lot smarter than you are. That's what this Course in Miracles is all about. You know, teaching you how to let yourself be guided by a higher love and higher intelligence, you know, than you currently are accessing. And that's what it's done. So the reason that we're allowing ourselves to get bogged down with so much trivial minutia is because we are afraid of that guidance. We're afraid of that relationship with our guide, with our higher self that's always there to guide us on the paths of learning, to guide us all the more quickly to happiness. Isn't that interesting? He says, so don't use your distractions that way. Don't use your distractions to get you so bogged down that you don't allow yourself to be guided. Don't use them this way. This Course in Miracles is about willingness, not unwillingness. Unwillingness has to be replaced by willingness, because willingness is part of readiness, without which learning cannot occur. Wow. So what's this course about? Learning willingness. Says this course is about willingness. Isn't that interesting? This course is not about mastery. That's not what this course is about. A lot of people put down the course because they think that this course is about mastery. Like, oh, well, I'll never master this, so I'm putting it down. But that's not what this course is about. It's not about mastery. It's about willingness. I'm willing to learn a better way. I'm willing to learn a better way to think.
And he points out right there that willingness is a part of readiness.
Yes.
Readiness to learn.
Yes.
Readiness to accept
Mm-hmm.
that there's a way to, there's a guy that is willing and happy to have my problem solved for me in the best, most efficient way possible.
Exactly. Thank you. Yes.
Hi. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning to you.
I went last night to the film that George and Ryan put together,
Mm-hmm.
and there was a point when the main character prayed for 4 hours and was totally distraught, and then just had a willingness, and that willingness saved 12,000 kids.
Wow.
That willingness was that trust, was that surrender. That was
Yes.
the word Carol used, was surrender.
Yes.
And like I've said to you before in class, I've tried it this one way, okay? It's done this one way a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And the willingness to even just try this,
Mhm.
because, if it sucks and doesn't work, then I go back to the other way that sucks.
Right. Exactly. What can you lose by trying?
Yeah, so willingness is,
Yes.
yeah, and driving back down from the mountains last Monday, Tuesday, whatever it was. I gave my relationships and my life and my body. I've never done that before.
Mm-hmm.
To
Mm-hmm.
God, and I'm just seeing what but that willingness means a lot to me. Like it's different than it's ever been before.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. The goal here of learning is learning how to be willing to be guided. The willingness to hand over all the things that we are getting bogged down with and distracted by, that's keeping us from doing and being what we were created to do and be, and so really we're talking about willingness. It's the willingness is the learning action. We're here to learn. What does that mean? Well, to learn, you got to be willing to hand over what you have been doing, your old learning patterns. Be willing to give them over to your teacher, your higher loving right mind, to be corrected for you. You got to have the willingness to give all the trivial, mundane details over to your higher self so that it can handle them for you brilliantly. It's all about willing. So learning equals willingness. Am I willing? Am I willing to give this over? Am I willing to learn a better way? Am I willing to let myself be helped by a higher and more brilliant, loving intelligence? Am I willing? That's what learning is. It's not mastery. Okay, beautiful. Any other questions or comments? Okay. I love it. Carla says, I am not admitting how many lifetimes I have invested in the unimportant. Okay. All right. We'll let you off on that one. And then Nicholson says, it's very tiring putting time into the wrong things, but that is what the ego does. It's very tiring indeed. Hi, Diana. Lovely to see you. And hi, Mary and Trisha. Lovely to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Okay, great. So we've got 15 more minutes. Let's see. Okay, well, we'll just go on for a few minutes into 26. And so we're going to do Miracle Principle number 26, and we're in the original edition. So that's the purple covered book, but I don't think we don't have any more. Okay. Okay. All right. Miracle Principle 26 says, a miracle rearranges the order of perception and places the levels of perception in their true perspective. This heals at all levels because all sickness comes from confusing the levels, okay? Levels of perception. What are the levels of perception? The levels of perception are the levels, there's the level of cause, and then there's the level of effect. There's the level of the body, which is the level of effect, and then the level of cause, which is the level of the mind. So sickness is, I've confused cause and effect. I'm sick because I think my body's making stuff happen instead of my mind. You know, I think my body's the cause and my mind is the effect, okay? That my mind is experiencing what happened on the level of the body. That's confusing the levels. And sickness means you're confused about what is cause and what is effect. And the Course in Miracles says as soon as you put the levels back in their correct order, you get healing. You get a miracle. So as soon as you go, okay, whatever's going on here, even though I don't know how, it's coming from my mind. Even though I don't remember choosing that, I don't remember it, I don't even know I had that thought, but somehow whatever I'm experiencing here on the physical level is somehow coming from my mind, and whatever's going on the physical level, that's the effect. As soon as you put the levels of perception in their proper order, you get a miracle, you get a healing, okay? So, you know, so that's something that you can apply immediately wherever there's a struggle, wherever there's a problem. It's because you've confused the levels. So tell yourself, whatever I am responsible, whatever I am experiencing in this is coming from my mind. Even if I do not remember choosing it, even if the thought in my mind is unconscious, it's coming from my mind somehow. And this is being willing to put it back, put the levels of perception back in order, okay? And then that's where healing comes from. Now, it says the reason for your difficulty with this is not that you doubt or distantiate or cannot believe. It is more of a reaction formation against a pull, which you recognize is so intense you are afraid. So I'm afraid of recognizing real cause because I'm afraid of, it says I'm reacting against a pull, which I recognize is so intense that I'm afraid. That's what A Course in Miracles says about God. Says God is a pull. God is always pulling us, calling us back. And God's pull is so intense that we're afraid of it. That's how it said, that's why we're afraid to recognize cause. We're afraid to recognize God. We're afraid to recognize God is our cause. Because we would be recognizing a pull that is so intense that we are afraid because we think we'll be uprooted. We're afraid of God because we're the same reason why we're actually really afraid of love. You know, we say we're afraid of love because, well, you know, they could hurt me. You know, they might leave me. They might betray me. But the real reason we're afraid of love is we're afraid of being uprooted. We're afraid of feeling a pull of something we can't resist. That's what we're afraid of. Okay? And that's why we're afraid of God. Yes.
In the film last night, he was uprooted. So he went a certain direction. Well, and it was good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he stopped making money. And his
Mhm.
kids were looking at him like, what the hell are you doing? You know, and his wife.
Mhm.
And it was all, not what anything's for, it was all in the end good. So what if you're uprooted?
Right.
I mean,
Right. I mean, that's a great question. That's a great question. And if what you're experiencing right now isn't making you fully happy, shouldn't you want to be uprooted for that? But it explains why we're afraid of God. We're afraid of God as our cause because we're afraid we couldn't control our joyous response and we would leap into heaven, which we would. And that's why we're really afraid of God, which really means that's why we're afraid of love. Because remember, God is the author of love. Love is not what we learned love is. Love is not a physical thing. Love is God. God is love, is life, is all of us. And we're afraid of love and we're afraid of God because we're afraid that we would literally throw everything unreal away and leap into heaven, into the heart of God, which we would, and that's what we're afraid of. It's like I'm saying no to love. I'm saying no to God because I want to keep control. I want to keep control. I want to keep all the things, I don't want to throw the world away.
And that could also be, if I get those levels, right, if I understand the mind versus the body, that part of my fear is recognizing radical responsibility.
Yes.
Right? That I have the choicing and the power of that call to make the choice
yes.
to hand it over.
Yes.
That if I'm looking and saying, oh, my body's not working, that is not my fault.
Yes.
Right? But if I have to take it to the responsibility level of the
Call.
mind and my thoughts and how I've chosen it, then I have to take more responsibility for the experience I'm having.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a big reason why we're afraid to recognize true cause and effect, the mind being the only level of cause. I'm afraid to take responsibility. Yes, Kelly.
About 18 years ago, I was introduced to Marianne Williamson's quote from The Course in Miracles, our deepest fear.
Yes.
It's not that we are inadequate, our deepest fear is that we are powerful.
Yes.
Beyond measure.
Yes.
It is our light, not our darkness.
Yes.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah.
That most frightens us.
Yeah.
Spirit. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? Actually, you're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel secure around you. We're all meant to shine as children do.
Yes, beautiful. It's perfect. Exactly. And Marianne Williamson is a Course in Miracles teacher. So, beautiful. And then paragraph 3 says, Lord, heal me is the only legitimate prayer. This also means, Lord, atone for me. And the Course in Miracles defines atone as correction. So, Lord, correct my thinking for me. That's the only legitimate prayer. Because the only thing you should pray for is forgiveness, which means correct perception. You have everything else. So the only thing you should ever pray for is correct perception, because you have everything else. You have all the love, all the joy, all the eternal life, all the power. You have all the connections. You have all the support. You already have it all. The only thing you don't have is correct perception. That's why he says the only legit prayer is, Lord, please correct my thinking. Please correct my thinking. It's the only thing I don't have. I have everything else. I have all the love, all the power, all the joy, all the eternal life that God has given to all of creation forever for free. We have it all. So the only legitimate prayer is, Lord, please correct my perception so that I can recognize all that I already have forever. Wow. That should be the only prayer. Please correct my perception, God. Because that's the only thing I don't have is correct perception. Wow. Okay. How are we doing time? All right. Well, why don't we stop here? And yes, oh, absolutely.
Go to the next page and read that 3 lines prayer.
Okay. Thank you. Oh yes. I wish we had time to do that. Which one, Matt, are you talking about?
The middle of page 19.
After 6.
After paragraph 6.
Oh yeah.
In the middle of paragraph 6.
Yes, that's right. I love that. Yeah. I'll just do so in paragraph 6.
Can you turn it into the meditation?
Oh, that's a great idea.
That's where I was going.
Thank you. Very good. I so love paragraph 6 so much. It's so beautiful and so powerful. So let's do it as a guided meditation. First, let's do some announcements, and then we'll do that as a guided meditation. Yes. And I love it how Gabriel's mission says, I'm exactly afraid of that. I feel God is pulling me, but I struggle giving up my own agency. Interesting, you say afraid of God. That hits it. Afraid of what really? Very good. Beautiful. Thank you, Gabriel's mission. That's beautiful. Well said. And hi, Terry. Okay. Announcements.
Thank you, Anna.
You're welcome.
We're not even going to try to make this a secret because it'd be impossible in here. Andres this is his last Sunday with us for a while. We're not sure. And with that, afterward, we always have the fellowship afterward, but we're dedicating it to Andres and our gratitude.
Mm-hmm.
Shouldn't I look at you?
Yeah.
Our gratitude for all that you have brought while you've been here. And
Yes.
if you haven't, there are 2 cards floating around. So be sure and leave him a loving note in one of those cards so you can take those with him. But please do stay after and share your love, your appreciation. As he leaves, thank you for all the work
Yes.
on the board and around our AV system.
All the great questions and comments. Truly, your authentic and loving nature has been such a blessing to us. Thank you.
And then today at 1:30, George, what are you teaching today?
We're going to explore the question, what am I?
Exploring the question, what am I? And George at 1:30, he starts talking really a little bit later, gives people time to meal in, but 1:30 and thereafter. And then it's the holiday weekend, so happy holiday weekend. Thank you for that. And I think that is all the major.
Yes.
I have some art and objects. Please feel free to take them. So that's all for the
All right. Okay. Well, let's do paragraph number 6 as our integration meditation. So I'm going to turn on some music. Oh, did we do the love offering?
Yes.
Yes, no? Oh, and online, you guys, if you would like to make a contribution, a financial contribution to the Miracle Center, I'm putting here on the screen the web address for the Rocky Mountain Miracle Center. And thank you so much for supporting the Miracle Center. And thank you guys for supporting the Miracle Center. Truly, when you support the Miracle Center, you are supporting this happening and you are supporting these teachings moving out into the world. That's what you're doing. So thank you so much on behalf of the world that's benefiting from this. Thank you. All right. So let me get some music going. And we're going to hear this beautiful paragraph 6. Okay. So close your eyes and take a breath. All right. Okay. The purpose of what we are learning is to restore everything to you. That is to restore your awareness of everything. The purpose of our learning is to restore to us the awareness of the everything that has already been given us. Tell yourself silently, I have already been given everything. You were given everything when you were created, just as everyone was. Having been restored to your original state of having everything, you have naturally now become part of the healing of the world yourself. And tell yourself, I have become part of the healing of the world. Now that I have been given everything by God. Tell yourself, I have naturally become part of the healing of the world. For I have been given everything by God. And now that you have naturally become part of the healing of the world, you now share love's inability to tolerate lack of love in yourself and everyone else. Tell yourself, I now share love's inability to tolerate lack of love in myself and in everyone else. And now that you share love's inability to tolerate lack of love, now you must join the great crusade to correct lack of love. Tell yourself silently, I now join the great crusade to correct the lack of love in the world. Say to yourself, I share my inability to tolerate lack of love in myself. And I join the great crusade to correct the lack of love in the world. The slogan for this great crusade to correct the lack of love in the world is listen, learn, and do. And what this means is listen to my voice, says love. Listen to my voice. Learn to undo the lack of love and act to correct it. This is the slogan for the Great Crusade, which you have now become a part of. The Great Crusade to correct the lack of love in the world. And so now I want you to hear your internal teacher, your higher loving right mind saying to you, listen to my voice, learn to undo the lack of love, and act to correct it. This is the slogan for the Great Crusade to correct the lack of love in the world that you have now naturally become a part of. because you have been willing to correct the lack of love in yourself. And breathe. Are you willing to now take your part in the great crusade to correct the lack of love in the world? Are you willing? This Course in Miracles is about willingness. Beautiful. All right, and when you're ready, open up your eyes and take a breath. All right, you guys, way to love yourself, way to take your part in the great crusade to heal the world. Good job, you guys. Good job. Great use of your time. Good job. Love you guys. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.